For those of you guys who did not see it, I want to play real quick again. It's like a 3-minute little clip of Lizzo breaking down the ideology behind culture. And she did this a couple of years ago, but I think this is really important because she sums up in 3 minutes the justification that many women have today as to why they feel they essentially should be able to twerk anywhere. So I'm going to show that again for you guys who missed it. And then I want to go on to one other video and then we go from there. Okay.
Twerking is a deep, soulful, spiritual practice. It's hip opening. It's empowering. When performed as a mapuka, it's said to connect you to God. It's sacred. And now we're practicing that on mainstream stages. We're practicing that at home. And it's contributing to the liberation of women and people around the world. Twerking is good for humanity. 40 years ago, when Black and brown people in New York invented breakdancing, it was villainized. Mainstream media weaponized breakdancing by connecting it to gang activity and violence. As an art form and subculture, it wasn't taken seriously. Fast forward to today, breakdancing is now an Olympic sport. What will be the future of twerking?
Let me ask you real quick, because she kind of is making a connection between twerking and breakdancing. Y'all let me know in the comment sections. Do you guys think that there's a connection? Do you think that that's a fair comparison? Because I do understand, like, yeah, back in the day, breakdancing was looked down upon. I can understand that. But do y'all think that breakdancing and twerking, like, that's a good comparison that she made? Also, for context, I have yet to see Black men go to a slave site and breakdance. Y'all let me know if I missed something, but I've yet to see a group of Black men go to a slave site somewhere or a tomb, okay, and breakdance, or grinding on a baby girl or a baby boy and being applauded for it in music videos or just randomly or in pools or in Target. Like I've yet to see Black men go take that and just do it everywhere. But yeah, I don't know if you guys think that's a fair comparison. He said, right, twerking. I don't understand what liberation she's referring to. Y'all caught that. Let me actually go back and play that because that was a key point right there.
Russian ballet dancers are twerking.
Wait, I want to go back.
As the mapuka, it's said to connect you to God.
Y'all, please, I'm like, keep God out of this. Y'all, please keep God out of your ratchetness. Okay, God be getting blamed for all kind of foolishness all the time. God ain't got nothing to do with women going and twerking on cats. God ain't got nothing to do with that. That's not spiritual. No, you twerking on baby boys. No, that's not. Nope. Twerking at grave sites. No, God ain't got nothing to do with that. Please stop. Like, if you want to twerk, fine. But can we stop trying to put all this extra spiritual queen ideology to justify us doing what we want to do? I would rather Black women just say, I just want to twerk. Period. This ain't for the ancestors. This ain't about God. This ain't about spirituality. This isn't about liberation. This isn't about freedom. I just want to shake my behind. Like, I think I would respect that so much more. Now we have to come up with all these justifications. Oh, this is spiritual. Oh, it's my ancestor spirit. Oh, it's the African. When you won't care about Africa at no other time, the only time you want to talk about Africa is when you're justifying your own foolishness. I'm like, come on now, stop. Please.
It's sacred. And now we're practicing that on mainstream stages. We're practicing that at home. And it's contributing to the liberation.
Like, we're practicing it like practicing it like it's a religion. Like, it's twerking a religion? Maybe, and maybe that's the underlying message. Maybe twerking literally is a religion for some of these ladies. Maybe that's what I'm missing. Maybe that's what I'm missing.
Of women and people around the world. Twerking is good for humanity.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Twerking, no. Twerking has done more to damage the image of Black women than liberated. I'll tell you that. If anything, it's liberated you from boundaries or self-respect. But it certainly hasn't liberated you to a place of having more self-esteem, more decorum, more respect now. And we don't like it. I don't like it. Black men, they don't really like it. I mean, apart from maybe if you married in a certain context, but they don't like it. I'm pretty sure the general society is tired of seeing Black women's behind. Look, I'm a Black woman and I'm tired of seeing Black women's behind. So how much more are other cultures and other races like, I really don't care. I don't want to see you shake. We all know you got rhythm. So I doubt it that everybody is looking around just waiting for a Black woman to just start twerking at all hours of the day. I doubt that's what people are thinking, because like I said, as a Black woman, I am tired of seeing Black women twerk. So I am a Black woman who was tired of seeing Black women twerk. How much more are there other people out there who are just like me, who maybe don't feel the freedom to say it because they don't want to be called misogynist or racist or disrespectful or whatever isms are going on today, but they tired of seeing Black women behind in the camera every 15 seconds. I'm tired of it, and I'm a Black woman. But let me continue.
40 years ago, when Black and brown people in New York invented breakdancing, it was villainized. Mainstream media weaponized breakdancing by connecting it to gang activity and violence. As an art form and subculture, it wasn't taken seriously. Fast forward to today, breakdancing is now an Olympic sport.
What?
What will be the future of twerking?
That an Olympic sport? Okay, we are really, really boosting ourselves up here. But okay.
Russian ballet dancers are twerking. Have you seen it? They be like this. Y'all think I'm playing? They out there like do 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 do.
As I said before, I don't mind twerking within a certain context. Dancing performances, okay, you're dancing with a husband or whatever. In certain contexts, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine. The problem we're having is that those boundaries have been disintegrated to the point to where now we're having conversations about African-American women who went to Africa and disrespected Africans and their ancestors and thought it was okay. And then now we're conflating stripper culture with mainstream culture and Black American culture and Black culture, period. And I'm like, no. That is not to be a Black woman. This is not to twerk all the time and disrespect yourselves. That's the problem. But to me, twerking in and of itself as a dance, it's like, okay, that's fine. And it's in a certain context.
Can we clear Tchaikovsky? Will we see twerking as an Olympic sport one day? And will Black people still be part of it? I'm proud to be a twerk pioneer. I'm grateful for the asses that came before me.
See, that's where I get upset, because it's like, again, it's like the only thing when we think of Black women, we just think of behind. That's all we think of. And I'm like, do we not understand how disrespectful and dehumanizing that is to ourselves? At the same time, we're complaining about being objectified. We're over here glorifying ourselves for just being a shaken behind. That is the insanity of this. Because we are engaging in our own demise. The things that actually harm us, the things that we don't want, we are doing. And I think that's where there's this big disconnect. Some people call this respectability politics. I'm like, can we bring back respectability politics? Yes, I would love to see more Black women being known for being respectful. I'd rather have that stereotype. I would much rather have that stereotype than this, personally. Let's continue.
All hail Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, from Betty Boop to Buffy the Body. When I shake this ass, I do it for the culture, not the vulture.
Yeah, not my culture. You ain't doing it for my culture. Let me say that. No, not for my culture.
For me, twerking ain't a trend. My body is not a trend. I twerk for the strippers, for the video vixens, for the church ladies who shout, for the sex work.
Okay, did y'all hear that part? I twerk for the strippers, for the video vixens. Remember what I said before? Because she spent this whole time talking about African culture, and then when she actually, or Black culture, and then when she described Black women in their profession, she went to strippers and video vixens, and then she threw on church girls or church women. Like, what are you talking about? What kind of nonsense? What kind of nonsense is this? How are you putting video vixens and strippers, first of all, in the same category of a woman of God? Stop. Second of all, how, when it comes down to now actually expressing and talking about the different professions and the different expressions of Black femininity, the first thing you think about is prostitutes and video vixens? Like, what are we even talking about? This is the kind of foolishness I'm saying. This is some BS. She went up here, did this whole talk about supposedly Black culture, and the first thing she said is, I'm twerking for the prostitutes and the video vixens and my ancestors, as if they're the same thing. Our ancestors would they be rolling in the ground. This is foolish. This is what I'm saying. Only God can save these hoes. This is ridiculous. This kind of foolishness. The fact that this is even a thought. It's like we're beyond the level of just ignorance. We're beyond that. We're now into the point of doctrines of demons. You're now into a point of rebellious spirit. And that's the kind of stuff where it's like, you need born again. And don't be going around talking about I'm twerking for God or for Jesus. No, he ain't got nothing to do with that. He ain't got nothing to do with you disrespecting yourself. God didn't make no hoes. You chose to be that because you're believing the lie that's being sold to you. And I'm supposed to sit here and agree and say this is for the culture? You're not representing my culture. You ain't representing my culture. You're not representing my culture. Let me continue. I'm trying to be nice.
I twerk because Black women are undeniable. I twerk for my ancestors, for sexual liberation, for my bitches. Hey, girl.
You do not. Your ancestors, trust me, wanted nothing to do with that. Let me just say that. If you actually understood even an iota of what you would consider African culture, or if you understood anything about queens, coronation rights, because y'all know Black women like going around calling themselves queens and goddesses. If you read even a little bit of the different responsibilities that they had and the way that they were to conduct themselves and be respectful and honorable, they would distance themselves completely from this. They would not they would disown this. They would not co-sign this. What are we talking about?
Because I can. Because I know I look good. I twerk because it's unique to the Black experience.
There are many things that are unique to the Black experience that we could highlight. There are many accomplishments that Black men and Black women have done. So many honorable things that are usually not highlighted and usually not celebrated. I would much rather you go on stage and talk about that, not sit there and conflate your African Black ancestry with some freaking video vixens. Like, our ancestors weren't going around calling themselves.
I'm really a whore. Like, I'm a, like with a W. Like, I'm a whore.
That's not what they weren't doing that. So again, of all the different things, if we want to go down history lane and pay homage to our ancestors, like of all the things we could talk about, the one thing we had to do was go around and talk about Black women's behind. At the same time that we complain about being objectified, do y'all see how foolish this is? Do y'all see how this don't make no sense? How we disrespect ourselves? Oh gosh. Okay. I'm almost done here.
It's unique to my culture and it means something real to me. I twerk because I'm talented. Because I'm sexual, but not to be sexualized. I twerk to own my power, to reclaim my Blackness, my culture.
That is not what. So, but you guys see what I'm talking about, right? How Blackness has been conflated with twerking? Like, really? And then again, we are mad when we are disrespected and when we don't get taken seriously. And then when the men that we want don't want us back, where we are over here promoting and leading with our behind. But then we're big mad. I've seen this super chat. Let me make sure I got it. It says, globally, we are the butt of everyone's joke. Like literally, quite literally, we are the butt of everyone.
Amen. That's right.
Like, but for some reason, this obvious connection is not being made. Like, it's going over people's head. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, we continue with this. You continue down this road of being the butt of everyone's joke, literally. I mean, and then at that point, you're going to get the results that you get. And you can't blame the man on it. You can't even blame black men on it. You can't say, oh, well, white supremacy and the Afrocentric features and they don't want, you can't. It's you. You disrespected yourself and then you're mad when you get disrespected. It's the laws of reaping and sowing. Karma, whatever. They're at play. As I said before, there are certain laws and principles. There are certain boundaries that have been established that are never changing and will not change. And we only make our lives more difficult when we try to fight against those God-given boundaries. And what we see is a culture that has celebrated a lack of boundaries, that has celebrated shamelessness. Like having no, it's not even that, it's not like I want people to walk around. I don't believe in having people walk around with shame all the time, because I know that can get also help, can be detrimental, and there can be other side effects of that. But what I'm saying is, if you're doing something wrong, yeah, you should feel bad about it, because the whole purpose of you feeling bad about doing something wrong is so that it will move you to not do it again and to know this probably isn't good for me. Let me go do that instead. But if you remove the consequences of your shameful behavior, if you start justifying what you're doing that is wrong or harmful or disrespectful, then again, you invite more curses. You invite more bad things in your life. And it's not even necessarily because, like I said, the man's out there to get you because black men are doing this or they're talking about, it's not that. It's just like, now you're just dealing with the laws of the universe that God established. Like, and can't nobody fight against that. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's really no spiritual understanding at all. It's like zero. She said we're living in a big psych ward. No lies told. Okay, let me finish this real quick.
I twerk for fat black women because being fat and black is a beautiful thing.
Okay, listen. Stop. Black women are literally harming themselves. And again, I know we have those exceptions, right? We have those exceptions who have diseases, who have sicknesses, and like, I get that. We can remove that 0.1% of black women from the population, or whatever small percentage. Celebrating obesity that leads to heart disease, which, if I'm not mistaken, is like the number one, or if not like one of the top deleters of black women. We shouldn't celebrate that. We shouldn't celebrate the thing that is actually harming us. And I know there's this idea out there right now where it's like, oh, you can be fat and healthy. Maybe, okay, 10, 15 pounds overweight. Okay, maybe that's arguable based upon the BMI. 115 pounds overweight? No. Your body was, at a certain point, your bones are not made to hold that load long term. There's you just can't get around science. So no, I am not for promoting something that has actually been proven to harm us and is continuing to harm us, and then make it seem like it's cute. This is another way we disrespect ourselves. No, don't celebrate the things that are actually negatively impacting the women who look like you. Don't do that. No. Let's continue.
I twerk because it's as natural to me as breathing. Black women invented.
Okay, please. But okay, y'all hear that? I'm sorry. I know I'm bringing it up. Did y'all hear her say, I twerk because twerking is like breathing? Breathing you do 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. That's something that we actually depend upon. She compared twerking to breathing as if that's something that she needs to do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She said it's like breathing to me. So you mean to tell me you depend upon twerking? You need to do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You need that. I've heard this before, but I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm laughing because this is so ridiculous. This is this is literal. She said twerking is like when things get so sad, like you kind of need to laugh. It's like a coping mechanism. Like this is your body's way of helping you deal with the trauma associated with that. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. She just really said twerking is like breathing. Again, we need breathing to survive. We literally do twerk or not twerk. We literally breathe 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because our bodies depend upon it. Right? If we don't have breath, you will literally pass away. Twerking is not breathing. You don't need to twerk as a means of survival. Like if you never twerk a day in your life, you can still live happy and full and exist. Like that's why I'm like, I don't. Okay, let me try to get through this.
Twerking is part of the revolution. We've been doing it.
Can y'all tell me what revolution? Because she talked about some, like she was using these like nationalistic terms or something. Like she's leading some, I don't know, she's leading something, like leading us to freedom. But I'm like, what revolution and what liberation is she calling? That's what I don't understand. Is it feminism? Is it the body positivity? I don't understand why she's using these terms like she's like Martin Luther King or something. The sexual, is that what it is? The freaking revolution. Sexual, okay, that makes sense. Because I'm like, what are we even talking? Okay, I think y'all helped me understand that. Okay, let me finish this.
Keep on doing it because we have and always will be the blueprint.
We've heard this. Black women are, the blueprint of the mothers, yada, 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 yada. And I get it. I mean, science is what it is. We know, like, Black people have dominant gene. Like, I understand that. The problem is, if Black women are assuming that they are the mothers and teachers of society, then society is going to hell. It's going down the drain. Because if that's what she's alluding to, and if women were now to take on this position of twerking is like breathing, therefore I need to twerk all the time and I need to be sexual all the time, although not being sexualized. Like if women take on that mindset, that would literally lead to the demise of society, because there'd be no, as I said before, there's no boundaries. We're continuing to try to break down boundaries that have already been clearly been established by God that help keep societies in order. And then now the fact that you're conflating strippers with women of God, video vixens and prostitutes with women who are devout, you see how they're constantly trying to blur those lines. And when you have no boundaries, you have chaos. You have literal chaos. So I'm saying, if your idea is Black women are leading, as mothers are leading nations, they are leading people to wherever, then whatever they're leading is going to hell. If that is a trajectory, and that's not what we want, because obviously that would be bad. But secondly, that's a lie, because like Black woman culture is not stripper culture. That's not stripper. No. If you believe that, then that means, again, you believe the lies that have been told about you for generations. You have believed the lies so much so now that you're internalizing it. And I think that's really what this whole scenario has told me. It's like the irony of Black American women going to Africa to reconnect with their ancestors and try to reconnect with their culture and bringing that slave culture with them. The irony of that, and also the sadness of that. Because what those women didn't understand was that as they were going there twerking for the ancestors, they were literally reinforcing every single stereotype that was said about their ancestors. They were reinforcing it. They were cursing their ancestors. I don't even think they really knew it, but that's what they were doing. And that's what I'm saying. It's like we invite curses on ourselves sometimes by our own actions. Not even, and sometimes it's not even intentional, just not by understanding laws and principles, not understanding that the way we act actually brings consequences. And that, again, by you believing the lies that have been told about you, about being nothing other than just a behind, right? Or being necessary. I mean, there's the Jezebel stereotype that Black women had. They had the just being a bed wench, right? Just being there for the sexual pleasure of massa, and then just the sexual pleasure of whoever. And now fast forward, we're not in those chains, but you see those chains still being there mentally for a lot of these ladies, but you celebrate it and you think it's liberation. And it's like, you're literally now just reinforcing the lies that were told about your ancestors decades ago. But now you believe it. And now you're projecting it. And you can't even turn to the white man. You can't even turn to the Black man. You can't turn to the Afrocentric. It's like, you're doing it. You are now reinforcing. You are now living out these lies. And that's again, what I don't think is being understood.
We twerk to remind ourselves we here and we ain't going nowhere. So in a case of optimism.
So y'all heard that? Basically, we're here and we ain't going nowhere.